Hi everyone, it's lovely to see you. I'm Lorna and we're reading The Mystery of the Smugglers' Wreck by Helen Moss, and this is chapter 18. Cross My Heart. Jack picked a direction at random and headed down the left-hand path, but he didn't remember seeing that enormous tree stump before or that broken gate sticking up into the undergrowth. He turned back, but the other path didn't look familiar either. Panic rising in his chest, Jack stumbled on. Roots caught his feet, brambles snatched at his legs. The path became more and more overgrown until it wasn't even a proper path anymore, and he was fighting his way through bushes and brambles. Suddenly, Jack's hand bumped against something solid. He tore away handfuls of ivy to find that he was standing in front of a heavy wooden door studded with metal rivets. He pulled down more ivy to reveal a huge metal doorknob. Jack turned the knob. He put his shoulder to the door and pushed. Who knew what was on the other side? But nothing could be worse than wandering the woods alone. The hinges creaked. Jack stepped through the door. Stone arches, wooden pews, crosses on the walls, candlesticks dripping with melted wax. This had to be the Pendragon Chapel. For a moment, Jack's fear was squeezed out by excitement. But then he saw 2 dead bodies. An explosion of terror ripped through his body. The bike light clattered to the floor. Startled by the noise, bats fluttered from every corner and flew out through a broken stained glass window. Jack fumbled for the bike light. Hardly daring to look or even breathe, he aimed the light in the direction of the bodies. Draped in long robes, they lay side by side on their backs, hands together in prayer, skin deathly pale, eyes vacant. Slowly, Jack inched closer. He almost laughed with relief. The bodies were carved from stone on top of an enormous rectangular tomb. Jack knelt and read the inscriptions on the side. William Pendragon, 1589 to 1642. Josiah Pendragon, 1650 to 1721. Oh yeah, Jack Carter triumphs again, Jack shouted, completely forgetting that he was lost in a spooky deserted chapel in the middle of a dark wood. He couldn't wait to see Scott and Emily's faces when he told them that while they were listening to Joe waffling about 18th century shipbuilding techniques, he'd single-handedly discovered the Pendragon family tomb. Now, all he had to do was find the secret hiding place and he'd have bagged the smugglers' hoard too. But where was the hidden entrance? This tomb was a solid great lump of stone. Jack walked round the tomb and found another body lying all alone. The beautiful young woman was so lifelike she almost seemed to breathe, her pale stone features glowing in the beam of the bike light. Her hands were folded across her chest and she held a small cross in her long white fingers. She looked like an angel. How could she have died so young, Jack wondered. Suddenly he was reminded of something Emily had said when they were making the plaster cast from the compass casings. Pendragon's wife died very young. Could this be her? Jack searched and found a tiny plaque beneath the woman's tiny feet. Elizabeth Pendragon, 1733 to 1754. Jack strained his brain to remember the year Thomas Pendragon's ship, the Mermaid, had run aground. He was sure it was 1779. The dates worked. There was something else written on the plaque too. Forever yours. A shiver ran down Jack's spine. He'd seen those words before, traced out in cocoa powder and plaster. The words on Elizabeth's tomb were engraved on the Pendragon compass. The secret entrance had to be here. He tried pressing on the words, sliding the plaque to one side, pushing on the scrolls of stone carving around it, but nothing worked. Jack was ready to burst with frustration, so near and yet so far. And now his bike light was dwindling as the battery ran down. He was going to have to try to find a way back through the woods before it failed altogether. He gazed down at the serene face of Elizabeth Pendragon, as if expecting her to wake up and whisper the secret to him. But then he realised she didn't need to. He'd figured it out for himself. The cross Elizabeth held in her hands pointed directly to her heart. Cross my heart. Those were the other words on the compass. Jack reached out and touched the cross, gently tracing his fingers over the cold stone. The side of the tomb slid back, crunching over the bat droppings on the stone floor. At the same time, the door of the chapel creaked open. Jack glanced up to see a tall, shadowy figure standing in the doorway. Dan Holworthy. What was the gardener from hell doing in the deserted chapel at night? Jack wasn't going to hang around to find out. He ducked inside the tomb and slid the panel closed behind him. Join me for chapter 19.